much progress has actually been made since we received that right to vote. You're listening to Brother to Brother with Aman Rashidi. Thank you for joining us once again. This is Aman Rashidi with the hat, and I am Pearly Gates, the quintessential Renaissance man. Papa Rob, what are you seeing
Well,
this cycle?
I see that we can multitask. We've been having to multitask since we've been in this country, so I don't see an opposition or a confrontation or anything that's not synergized by us being able to vote and be unified at the same time. It's like being a good father and being a good husband and being a good deacon or being a good imam. I mean, you can do all the same things at the same time, but the question is, why do we feel like we have to be separate in this move? Because many times a lot of folks feel like that we put too much energy into the vote, and then when we vote, we generally don't get the things that we want in our community. And a lot of that is true, and a lot of that can be reinforced by some of the things that we need to do as far as unity. And then when I say we, I'm gonna check myself like I check everybody else. Who is the we? Before you start talking about what we need to do, who is we? Are you talking about you and your associates? Or are you talking about black people as a whole? If you think that all of the quote unquote, however 50 million or 70 million black people are gonna come together and do something at one time, give it up. It's never happened in history, ever. And it's not gonna start here in America. So I think we gotta start with small victories. When we start getting small groups of people that are coming together and mobilizing in a community, and voting is a part of the process. I think even one of the things we've been talking about is having a voter's registration. I don't believe people say, well, we fought, bled, and died for the right to vote. Sure, we sure did. And you're right, that's our personal right. So if we had to go through those changes, then I need to be able to exercise that right when and if I choose to do so. Now, I think the irony comes in sometimes when people say, well, I'm voting for the two or lesser evils.
Two evils.
No, the lesser of two evils. So the question is, are we in that same situation right now?
Well,
is that what you feel like you're doing right now? Some people may say yes, some people may say no. Hopefully when we start getting some calling in today, we'll have that conversation. But voting has never really changed our situation in America. We've always had to fight. It wasn't a voter's right. I mean, the Emancipation Proclamation didn't come based off voting. It came off us fighting.
I love what you're saying, and to be honest with you, from my vantage point, I'm not going to, just like I'm not a strong advocate of people marching, although I will march, depending upon the cause. In fact, I want to shout out to Next Generation Action Network, headed up by a young man in Dallas, Texas, named Dominique Alexander. There is a march to protest the police, what they can call police brutality, but Papa Rob has coined the phrase, the term, police terrorism. And there is a march to contest the police terrorism. In fact, I got a couple of disturbing emails, text revolving around police terrorism, and we're going to get to the point. And before I even make that point, I'd like to say for anyone out there who is listening, please call in and feel free to speak, voice your opinion, or ask questions if you have them. The phone number is 605-562-3140. That's 605-562-3140. Once again, it's 605-562-3140, and the access code is 389254#. Once you have been led into the conversation, then at that time you would press *6 if you would like to make a comment or have a question. That will put you in the caller queue, and you'll wait for the prompts and wait to be recognized. Once again, I got a couple of disturbing alerts. One was about a young man in California, in Los Angeles, California. This was sent to us by EJ, and brother was executed by the SWAT team, and he was sleeping in the front lawn, and there had been a carjacking, and Now this is the SWAT team. So, let's reconcile SWAT team pursuing a carjacker. Okay.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, they ended up arresting the actual carjacker, supposedly.
Wow.
At the same time, they were executing an innocent man who was mentally challenged, from what we know. He was awakened, to, I believe, some type of sound or siren that they use, and then they hit him with some foam bullets, and he got up startled, and I think some reports say he went toward the officers, and one of the guys out of the armored vehicle fired and killed him, shot him in the abdomen, and basically killed him on the spot. And then I watched another video last night where a man was killed by 5 police officers in Oklahoma. They killed him in front of his wife and his daughter. Now, the wife and the daughter had a dispute. The daughter was 19 years old. She was still in high school. And the young lady, her mom, the one who birthed her into this world, the girl was getting out of hand, and her mama put her hands on her. She slapped her. And from there, the mom became upset, and the mother was going to her car. They were at the theater. The mother was going to her car, and the father took off to get his wife. And as he was pursuing his wife, he was accosted by the police, asked to show ID. And then, of course, they talk about he became aggressive or hostile. But this is a video, they showed 5 men actually killing this man, beating him to a pulp, him not breathing or barely breathing by the time they got him into the ambulance, and he was pronounced dead minutes later. So saying that to say that, the march that is being held here in Dallas, Texas this afternoon, spearheaded by the Next Generation Action Network, we do need to act. We do need to actually keep these issues at the forefront. So while the question for today is voting or unity, which is more vital to the advancement of black people, I'm going to stand on the side of unity, because I see unity getting things changed. I see the unity that occurred in Buffalo, New York, where the young child was struck by a car and killed. I didn't see any voting involved in them being able to approach the mayor's office, and where there were no streets and where there were no sidewalks, all of a sudden within a 2-month time span, and within a week actually, of those people of Buffalo uniting and actually taking it to the proper authorities, the elected officials, they got some action accomplished. So I'm not gonna say that I'm not gonna bash voting. I'm just gonna let Papa Rob, continue to chime in and lead this conversation. But I definitely.
Well, I wanted to talk about the once again, emoji bar to the spirit of our people, once again, that are losing their lives at the hand of civil service people that we pay our, taxpayer dollars to serve and to protect us. And even if we weren't paying them, there's no reason we should be killed. The reason police officers are trained so they can de-escalate situations without having to kill people. And once again, as Jesse Williams spoke and said, I guess at the BET, and as we've been saying for the last 100 years, you do figure out a way not to kill white people. So it's not without question that somebody called me not too long ago or emailed me and was so upset at the fact that people in Dallas would continue to protest after 5 officers have been killed. Well, an unarmed black man is killed every 28 hours, okay? So we're not gonna stop because that happened. We don't wish death on anybody, but we damn sure gonna do what we can do to protect ourselves. We have men, women, and children that we love, and we're gonna fight as men to protect that. That's what men do. Those who act and think socially responsible but provide and produce and protect for their family. That's what men do. And if we were to sit back and allow this to continue to happen and not do anything, we would be less than men. And we shouldn't be concerned what the headlines or the sublines says to us about defending our integrity. or defending the, why we would say something like Black Lives Matter, because it does. That's semantics. And I think at the end of the day, or I know at the end of the day, we need them both. But what I want to say is you can't knock a dude if he decides that he's not going to vote. If he or she decides that this is a situation where I have to choose. I don't believe you have to, but in that situation, as long as you got some level of action, unity takes 2 or 3 people. And I'm going to say this again, if you expect the millions of black people to ever come together at one time, that doesn't happen because 98% of the group fall on the 2% lead. Now, I saw another brother, Charles, had said something up there about the voting, but his point was that we need to be educated on what we're voting for. I agree with that.
Shout out to Ray Rizzle. Yes, Charles Ray Rizzle.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And he makes a good point on that. And oh man, same with Davenport, man. I ain't heard from you in 100 years, brother. The one thing about this is fantastic that different people are coming on that we haven't spoken to in a long time, and that we're chiming in this dialogue. You might not agree with what we're saying, but we didn't get on here for you to agree. We came here to have a discourse through brotherhood so we can learn something from each other. And then look and understand what black men think. Let me give you a good example. When you look on television and you look at the political pundits and you look at the anchors, what do you see? You see white men between 52 and 80 years old, giving their perspective on what's happening in this country. When you even look into the entertainment phase, you're going to always see a catalog going to be full, and you're going to see Rolling Stones or anybody else. It doesn't matter their age. Because these white men understand that maturity is super important and that the eldership is important. We got to understand that too. We're not getting no younger, we're going to get older. So we got to understand to put that into perspective. I'm saying that's why brother to brother in other formats like this, when African American men get a chance to stand up and speak forward, I think we all should be listening. We're still alive and breathing.
Most definitely. I want to point out a couple of things. I was sent an article by Ace, Emmanuel Shabazz, and the article talked about how long it would take for us as a people to catch up to the wealth of our white counterparts. And it says, if current economic trends continue, the average black household would need 228 years to accumulate as much wealth as their white counterparts hold today. For the average Latino family, it would take 84 years. And absent significant policy interventions or seismic change in the American economy, people of color will never close the gap. So the question today, once again, is voting or unity? Which is more vital or beneficial for the advancement of black people? And I'm just going to stop right there and say, listen, if we unite, then it almost effectively eliminates the need to vote. If we unite, because with our uniting comes us being able to build a tax base, circulate our dollars within our community. And if we did vote, then now we can vote as a block. People vote with their dollars. This is how the sophisticated voters, this is where you get these political action committees and all of these groups that are these financial donors who actually control politicians. They vote with their dollars. Now, if we united, that means that we could pool our resources, and dollars would be a part of those resources, and then we can impact a change. But right now, we're being fleeced for our votes, and we don't have there are no guarantees. There are a lot of promises, but there are no real guarantees.
You've seen over the years, man, that politicians are going to always lie to you, man. It's a system, and it goes to the highest bidder. Whoever pays the politician the most during the campaign is the one that's going to get most done. If you think that you're going to impress upon people to be more responsive to the people, no, they're going to the people who are going to pay for their house, their boat, their cars, and all these other luxuries that they get. Look, politicians have proven historically they're not trustworthy. There are some exceptions to the rule, but the rule has proven to be otherwise. And the corporations always win at the end of the year. Look, this is United States of America Incorporated. It's controlled primarily by corporations. Corporations who fund these campaigns. You're going to be responsive to them. Because in this particular instance, Black Lives Matter, money matters.
That's right.
Did that.
Right. And I like what Elliot Williams is saying right here. Okay. Shout out to Charles Lydia. Shout out to my kinfolk, Stephanie Davis, Mike Shabazz,
Yeah.
All of you guys.
My cousin / niece Angie Means. What's happening, baby girl? I love you. I've been missing you.
And me and Charles, we have.
I think I saw Mary Lee, but anyway,
We're getting ready to launch something in the middle of September, and we're going to be in South Dallas. We're going to be in the impoverished communities, and we're going to be painting homes.
It's going to be a
and
home.
we're going to be doing this. Really,
It's gonna be cool.
Shout out to that brother. Thank all of you all for tuning in. This is Brother to Brother with Aman Rashidi. And if you guys choose to chime in, that means actually just call and be a part of the conversation. The number is 605-562-3140. That's 605-562-3140. And then you would dial 389-254-pound. If you need to write that down, it's 605-562-3140. And the number is 389-254-pound. For you who are already on the line, I see Brother Zay. I see you here, Brother Zay. He's always insightful. And I also see my brother Omawale. You guys hit that *6, man, and chime in and become part of this conversation, because you brothers are very insightful and strong, and I'm sure that the people would love to hear what you have to say.
Let's add to that, though. If you decided, if we were more unified, depending on what you define as unity, okay, let's get that clear. Because depending upon who you ask, you can ask 10 different people what unity is, and you get 10 different answers. Does that mean we're unified? So I look at common unity. When we're working for one common goal for the best interest of our people, and we meet each other on the battlefield doing so, now we're already unified. We're working toward one common goal. Can we more be unified in the center for something specific? Like we're going to win a particular vote. Look, when you're unified, you can have a vote and you can control it all. Why can't we do it all? That's what unity allows you to do, to take it to the next level. But to depend upon something exclusively in the detriments of your people is very dangerous. Because what happens is we allow politicians to become rock stars. And then we can't wait to see them. And when we see them, we run up to them and we praise them for what they're doing. And they haven't really done anything but be in a position to be black. And we're just so happy to see that. Yes. That's not enough.
And I like what Brother Elliot Williams is saying here. He said, brother said 2016 presidential election is a wrap. We better focus on local voting and prepare for 2020. That means get a collective agenda. So most definitely two things that he said, local politics.
Right.
We are launching a show on the 13th of August called Coffee and Politics 101. Coffee and Politics 101, and that will be with our sister Sydney Walker, our sister Katrina Martin Bordeaux up in New York. And so Politics 101, that aspect of it, like one of the brothers said earlier, we need to be educated, Charles Ray Rizzle, we need to be educated about whom and what we're voting for. And that is how Coffee and Politics 101 was born out of that need. So look forward to that.
What was Nancy's last name? As a matter of fact, we were interviewing Nancy. It was someone that was
Nancy Kennedy, Judge Nancy Kennedy.
We had a very good dialogue in reference to the school prison pipeline and the overrepresentation of black people in prisons across America. You do realize that America only makes up 5% of the world population, but 25% of the people that's locked up all over the world are locked up in the land of the free and the home of the brave. Is there a little irony in that when you ask that? Remember your tired masses, longing to be free. But it also says when your rights are violated over long periods of time, it is your duty to destroy or abolish that government. That wasn't H. Rap Brown. That's the Constitution.
That's right.
So a lot of things that what we say, and you almost feel like we don't have the right to say it because of who we are. It's based off stereotypes. But a man gonna be a man, and you respect the men who stand up for the integrity of his people. We don't wish harm on anybody. But we're going to make sure that we protect ourselves. That's what responsible men and people do in a society. This is the start of unity, because the women start to respect the men for the positions they hold and the understanding that we have for our families again. That's how we're going to have to reclaim that to get unity. You don't get unity just at no rally. That's an event. You got heightened emotions, everybody talking, and you're going to take your ass home and do the same things that you were doing to begin with. That's the reality. Even when something impactful happens, Martin Luther King even shouted this comment by saying we got 10 days. And then we back to the norm.
10-day memory. Speaking of Dr. King, I want to interject Dr. King into the conversation, and then I also want to speak to the voters who are disheartened, to the potential voters.
Right.
One thing I was saying yesterday is that if you look at 100% of anything as it relates to America and our demographic, the percentage that we make up,
right.
we make up 13.2 of the population on paper. Now, do I believe it's more than that? Yes. But do I believe that the status quo has made sure that that number only goes to a certain level, because the higher that number goes, then the more inclusive they have to be and considerate that, we are a greater part of this population. So yeah, 13%, that means that we are only due 13% of anything. So if there's $100 million pie, then we got to split 13.2%. I say that it is more intelligent for us to unite and then look at the type of pie that we can make and see how much of that pie we would be entitled to, which is actually 100%. And something that is so to the voters, to the potential voters who may be a little bit disgruntled, let's remember that it was just in the year 2000, when George Bush won by 537 votes. Now, he lost the popular vote by 500,000 votes. And there was a recount in Florida. And after the recount in Florida, where his brother just happened to be the governor, he won the election. So you're telling me we got 100 million voters, and out of the 100 million, they came down to the wire, and he won by 537 votes. Really? Okay. So as long as they can insult our intelligence like that, and we can buy that type of stuff, they will continue to do it. Also, remember the company Diebold, where the CEO of Diebold, they make voter machines. They make the voter machines and the voter registration and the voter software. Well, they were caught with their hands in the cookie jar. Essentially, the CEO, who was a Republican, guaranteed that he would win in that state. The Attorney General, I want to say it was the Attorney General, ended up suing, and the restitution that they paid was a few $1 million. And then guess what? Debo said, well, from here on out, we're going to discount our software. We're going to give you our software at a discounted rate, and we're going to discount the voting machines, the price on the voting machines. I mean, but you were the one who rigged the election.
But they are a part of corporate America, so you understand that system. Since when has corporate America ever been fair? You had to come up with laws for corporate America to treat you right on the job. And then people who stay there for 30 years and longer, sometimes contributing their life to the growth of their corporation, can get kicked off because they don't want them to get a particular percentage of their 401k or whatever that's available. Look, you were stolen. Newsflash, you were stolen. And then we saw so much money that was stolen in the so-called bailout. We had to bail out criminals who never went to jail. We're setting double standards in this country. So stop being surprised if somebody is stealing. You stole America. So, you know what I'm saying? Look, so we need to just be aware of what it is that we're addressing. So what I'm saying is not be maybe politically correct or popular, but it doesn't matter. It's reality. So you can operate from that reality is all I'm saying.
I believe we have a caller in queue. Guys,
what's up, Steve?
Pardon me. I'm looking at my queue, and I think I saw a couple of other callers as well. We're going to take Omawale first, and then we're going to come back to Unseen. I believe he was in there as well. Omawale, you with us?
Hey, what's up, fellas?
What's happening, man?
First, I want to, hey, what's up, man?
Hotel.
Guys for continuously bringing, subject matters like this to the forefront, to the public. I believe the question is what's more vital to the advancement of black people, whether it be voting or unity. I definitely going to say it's unity because unity affects so much. In order for us to be effective when we're voting, we have to have unity. The bottom line is politicians respect numbers. They
right.
affect voting blocks. So if you out there just voting Democrat, just to be voting Democrat, how effective are you being if you're not voting with some demands? And the way you
That's
make
real.
demands is you unify, whether you're with your local church, whether you're with the NAACP, whether you're with the Urban League, whether you start your own coffee shop or organization, book club. You get with other organizations, other churches, other organizations, and you say, hey, these are the things that we need in our community. Now, let's call these politicians to meet with us.
Right.
Let's tell them what we need. And they don't have to be just from the Democratic Party. They can be from the Republican Party. Most
That's right.
African Americans don't even know that we used to be Republican.
Right.
You know, Abraham Lincoln was a Republican president. And it was really until the 50s that, we started voting in the, leaning toward the Democratic Party. So it doesn't really matter what party they're in. What matters is, are they going to submit to our demands? And if they don't get our vote. That's how unity can affect voting and make change.
That's
On the
right.
national level, it's pretty hard to make any type of change because all that's run by these world banks. But on the local level, we can demand a little bit more change because it's less run by the world banks. But if we have unity, it can affect voting, and then unity can affect so much other things. Our economics.
Right.
Who has Chinese? What's most important? Voting or unity? They're going to tell you unity. Look what works for them. They don't come up here worrying about who they're going to vote for. What they do is they get into their community and they create Chinatown. They hire Chinese people.
That's right.
They go to Chinese banks. They patronize Chinese businesses. Some of them will live in the same house, 2 and 3 families. All of them working. They save their money for 6 months to a year. Then all the money they didn't waste on separate houses or separate households to pay bills for, they put that money into a business, and before you know it, they got 2 businesses, 3 businesses. Now they got 3 or more houses. That's how the Indians do it. They got a best friend who's an Indian. They tell them. That's what they do. They come over here with the mindset to start businesses and to unify. They come over here unify. They come over 2 or 3 families at a time. So unity is working for other people. Why wouldn't it work for us? I definitely say unity, not only will it affect politics, but it'll also affect so many others.
Right on, brother. Hey, well, I appreciate that. I don't know how well brother Omwale could be heard. Essentially, he was talking about the fact that unity, not only does it affect voting, but it affects so many other things. And the fact that unity would allow us to be able to vote in blocks. It would allow us to be able to come together and situate our demands, place them on the politicians, and make sure that they live up to those promises, or make sure that there is a fair exchange. You get our vote, and you give us what we are promised, what we're asking.
But you gotta know what the we is. That goes back to what I was saying.
That's
so
right.
That goes back to the key with unity. With me, it's without question we gotta be unified. But before there is even a forum or a process called voting, we were people. So without question, we do understand that. But I believe that we can put these things together because we've been working in tangent together to make some certain things happen. But I want to go back to something that Omwale said. When he was talking about Lincoln, we used to be Republicans. You know what they do? When you're playing basketball at halftime, how you switch sides? That's what I'm calling that. It's just switch sides. Because, I remember Malcolm used to call them Dixiecrats. You know what I'm saying? So we got treated the same way by both. Some just proclaimed to be a little more liberal, but our circumstances and our conditions didn't change. We just got new faces in high places, but our condition as a masses stayed the same. You judge a people by what happened to the masses, not the exceptions to the rule. And the other thing was, look, the story is, let's stop being so critical of us because, it's the post-change of the century when you start looking, man. We was one of the most unified people we've have to have been to be in the situation we're in. We just in pain and we scream out many times at each other. But if you look back, in particular what I'm saying now is Black Wall Street and how much money we commanded during that period of time and how much the black dollar turned over in the black community prior to integration. All the things that we said we wanted to do, we were doing. We were in control of our churches, in charge of our funeral homes, in charge of our hospitals, in charge of our schools. We were in charge of everything. That meant you were in charge of your destiny. The question was answered, oh, black man, where is your centers of finance that Marcus Garvey answered? We were living that. It wasn't perfect, but it was ours. So I'm saying, let's start looking at those things again. And I appreciate Amawala because I think he put a lot of things together in that perspective, you all. Because it does go back to the local politics. And he also told you that wheel turns real slow the higher you get. You're not going to get too much impacted by something that's going to happen by a president. It's just a figurehead anyway, you all. So, with that being said, that's just my soliloquy on that in particular. But I also say this, that we do need to work on an agenda. We have an agenda that we've established for black youth, and I want to start sharing that with you. And we'll find a time we can lay that out. And then we also have a national agenda that we established years ago working with other organizations. So we have to start working on those things. And if we don't have those things, nobody knows what you really want. I mean, one of the major issues that we got to deal with is incarceration. What is on the agenda for us in reference to the prison industrial complex? What are we saying about that? Yeah. I mean, and if the black church as a whole, which is our largest organization in function, has not said anything about it collectively other than just get grants for reentry programs, you got to do more than that. You got to stop the tide of where we've fallen in this deep, deep, dark hole. And I know you're going to say, well, they need to stop this and they did. We all need to stop and we all need to start doing better. But if you see your brother in a hole, like you should support your brother, whether he's black, white, or indifferent. But we're finding out it doesn't work that way. We're all equal. We're all the same. But guess what? We don't all get treated the same. And I know you can use religion, and we need it all. My whole foundation, you all, came off religion. And it came off the spirituality of coming through a Christian family that introduced me to church, and it gave me a routine. Well, now this generation is not in the church. What's the routine for them now? We got to find that out. Where is our data when people come to our communities and ask us questions about our children, and they rattle off all these numbers? These numbers are given to you by the very people who shoot and killing you. So you can't depend on somebody who enslaved you, some people who don't understand you to treat you right. And that's nothing against no other people. If you're going to do something, you're going to take care of your family first. Does that mean you anti-other family? No, you got to take care of your own first.
I want to read off some statistics. I saw this posted on Brother Victor's page. And, it's talking about black spending. And it says on apparel, products and services, we spend $26.9 billion a year. Now, everyone knows that we have over $1 trillion in economic buying power. However, that $1 trillion that we have, it goes back into the hands of those same people that we're looking, the same people who have.
Let me show you an example. You get your check. So say I'm working for you, and then you hand me a check. Say my check is $4,000 for 2 weeks. Now it's a little check. Where do I take it? To a bank. That's not yours. You automatically give it away. Then when you're paying your car note, do you give the money to your people? Are you buying your house from somebody that looks like generally you are? Where are you buying your groceries at? Where you buying your gas at?
And I'm glad you said that because I want to, I've been thinking about this, and I want to launch today something called Black Business Confessions. Black Business Confessions. And what that is when we find ourselves, and we can do this in church as a matter of fact, that would probably be the best place. But when we find ourselves in a gathering with black people, whether it be an event where, a public speaker is coming, then I would say, let's stand up and let's make a black business confession. So my black business confession for today is that I patronize your brother. So that's what it is. You talk about you patronizing a black business.
Confession like you did something wrong.
Well, you confess to the good or to the bad. So I patronize the brother, Anthony Quiones, who has a book out. Had a great conversation. A-Class, shout out to A-Class.
What's up, man?
He was on. He's been on our show. This is a brother from New York. And
he listened to us in the hole.
He listened to Griot Nation Radio in the hole, and that brother just really, testifies that got him through, because somebody was saying things that resonated with him. That somebody being Brother Rashidi and Unseen, two of the sharpest brothers anywhere, two of the sharpest knives on the planet. And but I bought A-Class's book. I can't recall the name. I haven't gotten it yet, but I did patronize that brother. And another thing, the Griot Nation, with Coffee and Politics, we just did a photo shoot, and we patronized Brother Victor Muhammad. He is an excellent photographer. So that's two Black Business Confessions. Brother Victor Muhammad is on my page. He does photography, and anybody in the Dallas-Fort Worth area who needs some great pictures shot, then patronize the brother. And this is how we circulate dollars in our community. So when you hear about people talking about dollars turning over 30 times in the Latino or in the Asian community, and 18 times in the Jewish community before it leaves, and 16 times in the Latino community, et cetera, but it turns over not one time in our community before that dollar leaves. So because we don't manufacture, then we have a great challenge ahead of us, because we don't manufacture any products and we don't really distribute any products. So we are fighting an uphill climb. But if we can all make a commitment to patronize Black businesses, put at least maybe $200 per month aside that I'm strictly going to patronize Black businesses, Black enterprises, entrepreneurs, or even if it's in music. We got artists that are out here that are selling their CDs for $10, $15. Even if it's in that capacity, we must begin to circulate our dollars within our communities.
And it's not because you are against someone white. Every time we do something for ourselves, because how we condition, we feel like we're doing something in opposition to someone else. No, we're in opposition to ourselves when we won't support ourselves. I'm talking about when we support your business, I'm supporting your cousin, your daughter, your sister, your brother. This is a family affair. And because the word Black has been stereotyped and slighted so many times, our subconscious tends to want to reject it. All we're doing is defending the integrity of our family. So you don't have to fight and beg all the time. Look, if you're holding a placard out in front of somebody's business telling them you gotta support me out, look, if you had your own, we wouldn't have to do this. But we do know how that came about. It's not like these white corporations got there because they were fair and honest. But anyway.
Well, we got some callers on the line.
What is it? Yeah. I see you on that too.
Okay, so let's go in order. I'm going to, we're going to hit Unseen, we're going to hit Zadok, and then we're going to hit Sister Patricia Gillum, and let's do it just like that. Unseen, peace, brother.
Peace, what's going on, Black man?
What's happening? Unseen it?
Not too much, man. Just enjoying the conversation. I think that Claude Ellis give us a lot of direction. The brother who worked in the White House, he helped establish affirmative action, a lot of different things, and I think a lot of what we need to do is be able to seek out the authority of this issue with economics, because you can't be a politician, you can't buy a politician.
Right.
What the foundation of it is. So TI, a lot of people moving money, to places where we can have power. That's the basis of political power. And so with that, the movement has begun. A lot of things are happening, due to these events, and everything that's taking place is really pushing us toward that end, and which is not a bad thing. We always get upset when we react to certain things, but however, sometimes that's a good thing when you have people that are already in motion and already working toward that end anyway. So I think, next time we do the show, brother, we have to show anything that we go. I think it's part of an extension.
Chinwa.
He was speaking about on the Black Business Confession that we need to be able to post Black business. We need to be able to advertise Black business on our Facebook pages, anywhere that you see us. We need to be able to make it known what Black businesses are out there, and then patronize that. And part of it is awareness. And then once that happens, then we can start to build a little, economic might. And once you get big enough, of course, there will be external forces, the IRS of the world, or whatever these forces may be, is that you have professionals that like Pat McNeil and all these different people that are equipped to deal with that at that level. So when it all begins with the awareness, then the ability to patronize, man, there's hundreds and thousands of black businesses out there. We just need to be able to seek them out and put people towards them. Once their money starts growing, then we can put people in office based on how economic power.
Yes, sir. Indeed, brother. Hey, appreciate your comments, brother. Do we want to? I know you got.
Well, I just want to say something about the black confection. Maybe we should the confession. Maybe we should call it the Black Selection, TBS. It's a lot in a name. But back to what he said, I want to add something to as a part of a solution. What we have now is a platform. This platform is a unique platform for networking. And then we have another platform. That platform is on WBLK or Times Square Media. So we have a commercial platform and we have a social media platform. We're growing in leaps and bounds. Here's an answer here. Our goal is to give you the truth and how it fits and the dynamics of our lives. Because when you support a black business, let's get to the foundation. You're feeding, clothing, and shelter for your families.
That's right.
This is about taking care of yourself. This ain't some tangent about who we hate. It's about learning to love and protecting yourself, your daughters, your sons. So I just wanted to make sure we were clear on this. So a lot of times you think it's about the red, black, red. It's about your black ass. It's about you taking care of yourself and your family. And we have to be clear on that. We're not anti anything, but unfortunately we get that. But here's the form right quick. We're going to be in South Dallas. We're starting an initiative in South Dallas. And we're partnering with a group in South Dallas. And we want y'all to be involved. We're going to bring in the brother-to-brother platform there. And I want to see this become a business networking platform and a mentoring platform. Because while you're there, you get a chance to see black men, G's, and elders in responsible positions talking about the conditions that affect us. And you see people who have businesses coming. Young brothers should be able to come and see and meet a mentor. We are a community in action mobilizing for the betterment of our people. And we got to start with our sons. They're our soldiers. They need to be wise. If they're going to be marrying our daughters and our nieces, we have to prepare them. That's basics, one-on-one. So you'll just be looking. It might be next Tuesday, it might be next Wednesday. We're going to drop this bomb on you. It ain't going to be perfect, but it's going to be in process. Even Elijah Muhammad said, even before you have order, you got to have motion. We got to get in motion.
That's right. Sister Patricia Gillum. I'm sorry to call your whole name, sister, but that's what I see here. Are you with us?
Hey, brother, that's my wife, man. This is Charles with me, man. That's my wife, man.
Hi, Brother Charles. How you
Big
doing?
C, brother, peace.
She takes care of all that, brother. That's the song in her name.
Hey, it's all good, brother. Come on with it. Come on with it, man. Good to hear from you.
Well, here's from my perspective. What I have to say is that, I've had a lot of things going on in business and humanitarian efforts with my own people. And my people tend to back away. When you come down to this question right there, you put all the numbers on the table. You can talk about all the unity you want to. You can talk about all the love you want to. But I always get faced with this question. What are your beliefs, Brother Lee? I'm like, why does that have to do anything with what we're trying to do in building up the people in the community? But if you're not a Christian, then I really don't want to deal with you on that level. You have a nice day. What ends up happening with me is that I backed up. I think about 2 years, 3 years ago, me and Brother was on Facebook going at it, back and forth, just going at it, and deep, just back and forth. And somebody inboxed me and said, well, if you were a Christian, you wouldn't be going at you like that. I said, I've been on that brother for 30 years. That's not even the intention at all. Wow. What I'm saying is, when I was black unity and stuff like that, all of that's what we're talking about. The bottom line is the economics of the black community. That's the bottom line. And if people can stop worrying about what the state another person has and look at the works that they're doing, they will rise up there. Okay?
Wow.
Because you consider a room of 300 people, and 150 of them are Muslim, 150 of them are Christian, and you're not even one of them. 70% of those people will not want to deal with you because you don't follow their religious faith. because they think that you're not, how can I say it, you don't know what you're talking about. But I've been out there in these trenches, and I've been in South Dallas 48 years. I don't see any black businesses in South Dallas building up anything. I don't see any of us out here on the country. I go to South Dallas, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and I'm talking to the young brothers on the street, the young sisters on the street selling their soul. I don't see none of us, I don't see nobody out there. They got wisdom or something like that. And the other thing that I don't understand is, well, I do understand it, you know, the disrespect of our black women cannot tolerate. We cannot ride nothing without our women. I don't care what you talk about. You can talk about all this voting and unity and all this other kind of stuff like that. But until we start respecting each other, respecting our women, and taking care of our babies, we have nothing. You can vote all day, you can have a conference with all the women you want to, but there's no respect. None. There's nobody out in South Dallas right now. There's nobody out in South Dallas saying, hey, can I help you out, brother? Hey, can I help you out? All we do is we sit back and we complain without trying to find a solution about the problem. Okay? We talk a good game, but when it comes down to the nitty-gritty, hey, brother Joe, what you this is please? Well, I don't think that's we came to talk about these numbers and what we can do. Well, other people want to deal with you. So then a person like me backs up with all the plans and stuff that I laid down on paper and said, hey man, I don't have to be going about it. I don't want to leave. Hey, if you want to do this and you find something wrong with it, we go back to the kitchen and do this. You know what I mean? But until we get out there and actually doing it and stop talking about it all the time, you look on all the social sites. What rides you? What do you ride? You get another Facebook page, a Twitter page, a MySpace page, a Black Planet page, but you ain't actually putting in the work. You can talk the game all day. And the other thing, the local level is more effective. I agree with that. The local level is more effective than the bigger level with the president, in the pond, and get this shit done out. But what I'm saying is, all the talking and stuff like that, you've been talking for 48.5 years I've been on this planet. 48.5 years I've been on this planet. Okay? I remember when I was in South Dallas was straight. You drive through South Dallas now, you say it's our community, but it's really not our community. It's the Chinese and the Arab community because they're economically set in. We're not set in our community. We're going to patronize the fish market, which is Chinese, the drink bees and all of the alcohol stores and stuff like that. But we have nothing. Because we're always talking. We're not actually getting out there doing it.
You're right, brother. You're right. We appreciate your comments, and you're on point. It's time that we walk the walk. We're talking the talk, but it's time that we walk the walk. And I will say, Zadok, I'm coming to you in about 35 seconds, and I will say, brother, the initiative that we have next month is going down, so y'all be able to see it live and in living color. Everything that we're talking about, and don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-talking. My man Ray Rizzle,
Let's go.
Hey,
Done
Ray,
baby.
We'll be there because we've been looking for a place where we can dialogue. Charles Ray Rizzle, brother, I've been knowing for a minute. We have an idea about barbers as mentors. We realize that all conversation, everything that there is to be talked about is talked about in the barbershop, and it is a great place where we can build a foundation for our community. So we will be there. Inbox me your number, and we're gonna set that up. Peace to Antoine Black, greater than but not equal to the clothing line. Rashid Aziz. All my brothers.
All y'all cats definitely should show up, man, when we start meeting over on the south side, man, because we need to have that one spot, man, where we're going to do our griot luncheon. We're going to network. Okay. I look forward to it, brother. We'll keep you posted. We'll let y'all know right here on Brother to Brother, and we'll broadcast it also on our terrestrial line on the station.
Thank you for your call, Charles.
Thank you, Charles.
Brother Zadok. Peace.
What's happening, brother?
Long time, brother. Good to hear your voice.
Yeah.
You already know what it is, man. Man, I don't, I'm just still kind of upset. Big Papa Rob was in my town back in June for a whole week, and I just found a way to be out of town for a month.
Yeah, but I know you was handling your business though. You was working, brother. You was on the highways and byways, just like JC.
Yeah, man. Well, one, it's good to be back on, man. And I'm just, I've been up and down just the East Coast, man, from New York State to the bottom of Florida and back in different neighborhoods, and we all sharing the same struggle. I don't care if it's a tropical climate. I don't care if it's the Northeast where it's snow and rain sometimes. We all are suffering through the same things. You out west, you in the deep south, the Midwest, and one thing that I'm starting to find in the conversations as I deal with more and more reactionary activists who claim that they're revolutionaries and they're not. At least in my opinion. Who am I, right? My opinion won't make the sun come up tomorrow, but these reactionaries posing as revolutionaries. I think that everyone will say unity is better than the idea of depending on the national vote. And the one brother who spoke a little earlier, I agree with him wholeheartedly. If you're going to use your quote-unquote given a right to vote, you probably have a better chance of affecting something locally that you're close to than the national idea, because as I've said before, and anyone who has ever had any kind of true power would admit, unless a people is totally just and truly remorseful across the board, you would never give the so-called right to vote on a national level to a people you treated on the level of your cattle. If you ever intended or ever even believed the possibility that giving them that right would take you out of power.
Wow.
So first off, I'm just telling you guys, I wouldn't do it if I was in power and the roles were reversed. So unless I was totally just and something just happened to transform my way of thinking. So looking at it on the national level, I think that we have to stop being fugazi about the issue. And I'm not saying it to my brothers on the panel, because most of you are aware what people call conscious. You brothers are aware.
Right.
That's that. We got to listen to Ronald Reagan. He said presidents are not elected, they're selected. Because no matter who supposedly gets elected, it is out of a choice few that be allowed to be in the selection process in the first place. Zadok ain't just rising up to be the president of the United States, even as a viable candidate, without there being the people who will propel me. I can tell you who they ain't gonna let. Never been in the run for president of the United States. I guarantee. So with that being said, the idea of unity, I think that another thing that hides that can cause us to have a pseudo sense of togetherness, because I always say about Black Wall Street, I know about the less popular one they don't talk about, the very wealthy black community in North Carolina, same time as Black Wall Street.
Right.
I think that there's this false sense of a unity that we had as a collective people that was hidden by the means of oppression. So sometimes it can be forced to make it look like you are all unified because you are oppressed. Gandhi, along with his Hindu and Muslim and secular Indian counterparts, seems like they were truly a united people when they came together to fight against the British. But it wasn't too soon that the last British ship sailed was over the horizon that they turned on each other and fought. And to this day, India and Pakistan are mortal enemies. I think that oppression has also been a conduit through which our individualism and our selfishness have been hidden. And I believe Black Wall Street was proof. As soon as integration happened, it should have never been a guarantee that integration by their law would separate us as a people, economically and even in some ways spiritually and sexually. I believe that integration just took off the covers of who we started to become collectively, and a desire in a lot of us individually. Because real talk, as soon as South Tulsa was open to us, blacks who have been in North Tulsa all of their lives stood in front of the same place that them and their grandmothers have been shopping in and waited on buses to take them to South Tulsa to experience the white life. That's the truth. They turn their back on the black businesses behind them and stand at And up from slavery, the great Booker T. Washington said he saw many blacks who would earn $10 a week, and they would take $8 and put on a best suit, take $8 of the $10 they earned that week just to take a carriage ride to Washington, D.C.
Wow.
When a man who started the first recognized black institution, the first HBCU in America, tells you what he started to see happen in his people, I think that we have to look at the pedagogy of ourselves, and we also have to look at our psychology. And it's only one of two ways, and I'm going to end it here, brothers. I thank y'all for giving the young man the floor. I believe there's only one or two things that we want to unify in. We either are going to want to unify in a long-term plan that's going to cause us to be a totally separate government eventually, or we just want to unify within the confines of the capitalist economic model, and that'll never be a threat to this country. As long as we want to unify under the principles of the rules they set, we earn their money, we want their businesses, we want to be like them, we'll never truly be separated from them. We'll just amalgamate ourselves and say, you have to recognize that within your construct, we are powerful as well. When you have a people who, just like others, but because we're less educated than most, because we have less resources in some places than most, when we are raising our children, and we've been marketed to do this unknowingly, as soon as our young men and women get about 16 and 18 years old, we're trying to usher them out of our presence. Actually being educated by the system to have children who we're doing our best to raise them in a family structure, we're pushing them to the oppressor as quick as we can when they're still not really ready for life. Who really feel like these 17, 18, 19-year-old kids are just really ready for the world? You still want to protect them some, but we've been convinced, even though that's deep within us, for some reason we go against that protective nature and we push them to the oppressor, and they become individuals. And so what happens is we get old. Now they're chasing an American rat race dream. They ain't got time to take care of old mama, old dad. And so the two worst things to be in America is an old person and a young child. Young people are getting pushed to the nursing home farm, and young children are at the mercy of either super elite, arrogant, oppressive, or uneducated, oppressed people who can't find a way out of the barrel. So I'm just hoping that as we have this discussion further, we really identify what we're trying to do. Because if we're just trying to make money and be great Americans, but more unified black Americans, and we ain't got no plans on ourselves, then say that so I can understand what I'm fighting for. But I hate the system. I hate it. I love my brothers and sisters of all shapes and faiths, but I hate the American system. And so I don't believe in it. And so if I'm going to really be unified with my brothers, there has to be a long-term plan, because some goals that we want won't come to pass in our lifetime. We have to be setting up something that we know will take generations to break, just as it took generations to put us to this, man. So I thank you, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for giving the young man the floor once again.
Oh man, thank you, Zadok the God Hop MC. Met brother Zadok in Buffalo, New York. He became a part of our family, and we missed him when we were there the last time because he was out doing God's work. He was handling his business out there on the streets, doing the same thing JC did with 12 other dudes kicking it. We know what you would have called him back in the day, and he had no book with him while he was on, while he was on the job. One of the things he did say I wanted to commend on was Marcus Garvey and W.B. Du Bois. Many of the people that we love and respected so much didn't get along with each other. As a matter of fact, they were quite nasty to each other. Let's be real honest with it, especially Du Bois and Garvey. Some of the things they said to each other was, you just got to go look it up and check it out. And then the other thing is that what he conceded was that powerful people don't teach powerless people how to take their power away. No one is ever going to put you in a position that you can utilize the same system that enslave you and oppress you to make you equal. That's not going to happen. That's not chess or checkers. The other one is Kung Fu. That's what they did with us. They rewrote the narrative during the Black Power struggle or the Civil Rights movement. They rewrote the narrative. They used Kung Fu. Use your momentum to flip you. And when you talk about flipping, we did flip, because we flipped everything that we owned to be in the illusion of someone else's house. Remember, the middle class was an illusion then and still is now.
Well, we got a comment up there, and we're going to wrap up. Sister Katrina Martin Bordeaux said she's can't you do both, which is something that you had alluded to at the opening. I'm not going to ever not vote to unite with anyone. Doesn't make sense. But what is evident is that we don't see ourselves as political leaders and think that if we scream loud enough, those that are actually change something. A viable plan gets the ear. So
I got a good comment to that. You know, if you're in a relationship and you get into an argument, you and your lady, and y'all start screaming and shouting, you think if you scream louder, he gonna hear you, and she thinks if she scream louder, you gonna hear him. And in reality, it's just two people screaming. Nothing's being heard and nothing's gonna get accomplished. Somewhere along the line, with some sensible mind, we gotta sit down and realize you have more than one sense. Society tells you have 6 senses. You got well over 30 senses. You got a sense of justice, a sense of peace. I can just go on and on and on. Those things exist. So a part of what we do need, you all, is intelligence and knowledge. We need to be empowered, and that's a part of some of the things we'll start also giving you, the brother to brother. It's giving you some reference points. Claude Anderson is a great person when you want to start talking about economics, and when you start talking about voting, there's several things you can go just check out.
Well, when you talk about intelligence and knowledge, we are talking about education, and one of the perks of unity, one of the perks of cooperative economics, which is pooling your resources and your dollars, is being able to create and establish a tax base. And from that tax base, that's how you fund education. So, and this is something that we haven't even talked about, that a lot of our condition as a people is relative to our lack of education, our degree of education.
But remember this, when we had less money, we had more education. And the black education, the public school system, as you know, it started at the church. It was the black people that had to utilize their church to educate their children because you wouldn't let them in your school. So poor whites came to our schools too. Therein opened a public forum that you now call public education now. So these are all our creations. I mean, we are animals of practicality, but we are not respecting what we created, and many times it's stolen. That's why many times we don't trust this system that you say is voting. It don't mean that we love each other, we're in opposition with each other, but many of us just don't feel like it's true and it's honest. And we just gotta make sure that we keep an open door policy of communicating, because we do love each other. Don't you believe the narrative that we're totally ununited. There's no way we would still be here, because believe me, nobody is trying to help you. You're doing this on God's grace and our ability to work together. Those few who are united, because 98% of a group follow, only 2% lead.
Okay, well, you know, we could really dig even further into this, but I mean, I think we've covered a lot of ground. We appreciate all of the callers, all of the listeners, all of the viewers. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
We would be remiss if we did not talk about reclaimingthevillage.org.
Right.
Please go there, make a financial contribution, because this work that we're doing right now, this is part of reclaiming the village. It will take people out on the front lines reclaiming the village. And these things are not free. You know, when I say if we want to be able to put our platform on par with some of these other platforms, I would say Michael Savage's platform, Alex Jones's platform, Bill O'Reilly's platform. These people don't have your best interest at heart. These people are not bringing you quote unquote news, philosophies, or ideologies that you can use. These people are here to maintain the status quo, to promote the propaganda, and to maintain, which also maintains the status quo. So we want to be able to not only lead by example, but we need to start putting the proof in the pudding. And the proof in the pudding is with your dollars, with our dollars, because we're already investing in ourselves, but we need the investment of the community. So reclaimingthevillage.org.
And hey, well, I want to add to that, PG, too, you know, for those who are listening who've been looking for some things to happen and been looking for us to get the studio set up, we're going to be doing that in South Dallas. We want to have one centralized location where we can meet, greet, do a little fellowship, a little light food that's going to be good for the body, because we're going to give you information that's going to be powerful to the mind. Our central focus is about life, love, and liberation. We got Coffee and Politics 101. We're going to deal with the issues of politics in our community because we have to communicate and have a consistent form by which that can be heard. You're going to have brother to brother where we deal with the issues between brothers and how we strengthen brotherhood, both man plus boys that are trying to become men but don't know because they're confused. And you do know what I'm talking about. And not to mention just our regular form that we have that's on 93.7 WBLK and Hot 99.1, which is a commercial platform. So we hitting you on multimedia platforms. This is a network. It's not just some internet or social media show. We plan on impacting the world, not just America. And that starts with information. So we're going to have a youth bill there. We're going to call it the Winners Youth Bill. And this youth bill will also pay stipend plus train youth, and we plan on developing jobs right there in South Dallas. No, we are not asking the politicians to say, we're going to give you new jobs. We're working on doing that ourselves through vertical farming, an innovative way to replace food deserts in our community. And particularly from people who were tropical people to begin with.
And emoji about Dr. Sebi, speaking of food
deserts, we would be remiss.
Health and nutrition, one of our giants,
elders,
you know, this brother transitioned last week.
He did.
Dr. Sebi.
Under strange circumstances, being incarcerated for over 2 months, and not to mention that it's been over 48 now health practitioners like him who've lost their life in the last year and a half. Everybody just died at the same time. Do you really believe that?
And look at the fact that, you know.
It's not a conspiracy. That's just reality.
Yeah, pharmaceuticals, that is the leading business in this nation.
You're talking about a man who came up with a cure for AIDS and went before the United States Congress and argued the Medical Association and won. Come on. But when you're making $1 trillion with the so-called drug that maintains AIDS, then who's going to give that up for the cure? I'm sorry, that's where the capitalism operates off: fear, ignorance, and opportunity. And though it may be beneficial to you, look how many people don't have what you have, which suggests the system is not level.
So, and also, to the elite capitalist, competition is a sin. To the elite capitalist,
business is warfare.
Competition is a sin. Business is warfare. So, if you're doing anything that conflicts with my interest as an elite capitalist who has the financial wherewithal to do whatever, then you will be eliminated.
And hey, I told some people that were there with me in Las Vegas, we had an expert program. I'll get into that a little bit later on. It's part of Youth Bill, but for those who had the training, big ups. I appreciate you all. I found a guy that's going to be working with his brother Charles, talking about a sportscasting. Used to work with the Knicks, but we know nothing will happen now. But anyway, but beyond that, thank you for all the people that I met. We had a real good time. Welcome to the family. Excuse me. Many of you all want to come to Dallas, so we get it together so everybody can come to Dallas and check us out. But beyond that, I want to thank PG and thank all the brothers that are in Brother to Brother, all the sisters that, because we're all a part of the Griot Nation family, and we mean that. When we say family, we love, we live, we love, and we look after each other. And it's about life, love, and liberation. And even though we may not agree with you, we may not even have the spiritual same religious ideology, we still love you. You're a part of our family, and we do understand that. So I just want to say that. And in closing, Dr. Benjamin Mays, I have so much admiration for that brother. And if you don't get a chance to check him out, just go online and get a little buzz from him. But that was a man that Martin Luther King admired greatly. And King had some issues in reference to religious and some of this interpretation. But anyway, Dr. Benjamin Mays said it must be born in the mind that the tragedy in life doesn't lie in reaching your goal. The tragedy lies in having no goal to reach. It isn't calamity to die with dreams unfulfilled, but it is a calamity not to dream. It isn't a disaster to be able to capture your ideal, but it is a disaster to have no ideal to capture. It isn't a disgrace not to reach the stars, but it is a disgrace to have no stars to reach for. Not failure, but low aim is a sin. Holla Black next week. Appreciate y'all. Hotel.
Peace, love, and life, fam.